What's happening? It's Iron Man from the music group of Lottery Showtime Records. And on this glorious March 27, 2018, I bring to you my daily views. Everything concerning the NBA, the schedule, my picks for the games, and the reason why. If you're trying to support what I do, type in JMVOL or just my views on life into the search bar on youtube.com. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you're alerted every time there's a brand new video. Now, about last night, we're kicking it off with the Boston Celtics versus the Phoenix Suns. You know I'm a lifelong Laker. I despise everyone wearing green. But in this case, I was just happy to see Jaylen Brown coming back, getting more and more healthy after that horrific fall he had about 3 weeks ago. Underrated backup point guard Terry Rozier is continuing his breakout season in the absence of Kyrie Irving. Scored 16 points in 31 minutes, had a plus 13 in the plus or minus category. Al Horford was consistent self, had 19 points and a plus 11. And Jason Tatum, the heralded rookie from Duke, had 23 points, plus 7. Even though this extra load has been put on his shoulder, he seemed to be carrying it well. With that being said, I still wanted the Phoenix Suns to win so that they not get rewarded for obvious tanking, and the Celtics losing is usually a big part of my plans. That did not work out for me. The heralded rookie for the Phoenix Suns, Josh Jackson, had 23 points. Marquise Chris had 13, but it was obviously not enough as they were in super tank mode and they lost 102-94. The tanking Memphis Grizzlies played the Minnesota Timberwolves. I told y'all how important Derrick Rose is to any team that he plays on. He's not returned from his ankle roll injury. But I was rooting for the Memphis Grizzlies because I don't want them to be rewarded for an obvious tank job that they are putting out there this season. And they did not disappoint. Your boy Marc Gasol had a monster game, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. The man just filled up the stat sheet. But oh, did this man have some help in the form of Wayne Selden Jr. If you don't know who that is, played for Kansas. He had the dunk of the year in March 2016 against Baylor. I guess it's something in the water. Maybe he just loves March Madness. He plays great in the month of March. But this guy went off for 23 points in only 26 minutes. The man was a scoring machine, ending the game with a plus 11 and a plus or minus chart. Add to that, he had 4 assists and 3 steals. And that way, the Memphis Grizzlies came through for me. 101-93 over the Minnesota Timberwolves. I will be talking more about the Timberwolves and my injury update, which is coming right after this. Then we had the Denver Nuggets playing the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Sixers just mollywopped the Denver Nuggets. I don't know what was going on, but everybody in the Sixers is playing great as of late. Balanced scoring in the starting lineup. JJ Redick had 19. Embiid had 20, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Covington had 18 and a plus 23 and a plus or minus. Dario Saric had 20 points, 3 assists, 6 rebounds. And not to forget, Ben Simmons had 7 points along with 13 rebounds, 11 assists. Okay. That should tell you pretty much everything you need to know about how this game went. Let me note that small forward Will Barton for the Denver Nuggets, who I've got my eyes on for the Lakers in case we miss out on Paul George and LeBron James. I really don't even want LeBron James, but that's another subject for another time. But Will Barton is going to be a free agent at the end of this season. He played 36 minutes, had 25 big-time points. Looked like he carried the team, but he had no help whatsoever. So they lost 123-104. Then we had the New York Knicks versus the Charlotte Hornets, which no one in their right mind, anybody outside of New York or Charlotte actually watched. But what turned out to be pretty much the game of the night. I like Tim Hardaway Jr., I like Michael Beasley, Manuel Mudiay, Frank Ntilikina for the New York Knicks. I wanted them to play well, but I wanted the Charlotte Hornets to win because I like Dwight Howard, and I like rooting for people that get hated on. I like the underdog, and people have been sleeping on them this year. Hardaway Jr. had 17. Enes Kanter had 15 points, 13 huge rebounds. Michael Beasley played 35 minutes and had 27 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. So you think Ntilikina had 12 points in only 18 minutes. Shot 60% from the field. Throw in 3 assists. You think they had, a pretty good game. It was all right. But Dwight Howard had another monster game. He had a plus 15 and a plus or minus. He had 23 huge points, had 13 rebounds along with 1 assist. You add to that some balanced bench scoring from Frank Kaminsky, Willie Hernan-Gomez, Jeremy Lamb, and Malik Monk, the shining rookie from out of there, who doesn't get much talk because he doesn't get that much playing time, but he's actually been playing fairly well when he's not inconsistent. They were all in double figures. But the story of the night was at the point guard matchup between who? Trey Burke, who was the 9th pick in the 2013 NBA draft, who had found his way outside of the league. He had to come back and play in the G League for a couple of teams, and got his call up earlier this year for the New York Knicks against Kemba Walker for the Charlotte Hornets. Kemba Walker struggled for most of the game, but came through late, right before regulation expired. The reason he had to do that is because Trey Burke was going bonkers. He had the team on his back, and he came to put in that work. He played a game-high 41 minutes, shot about 57% from the field. These weren't just dunks, these were jumpers involved in that. 1 rebound, 1 steal, 12 huge assists. Oh, and did I forget to mention, he had 42 huge points, a career high for this guy. So my hat's off to Trey Burke for continuing to put in the grind, believing in yourself and your talents and your abilities, and continue to put in that work and just waiting for your time to shine. This guy on the biggest stage for the New York Knicks came through when he needed to. But it just wasn't enough. Being the polished veteran that Kemba Walker is, he came through in the clutch. To tie the game up before it expired and went to overtime, and then he just took over with what was a super important game, at least to me and the players involved. The Lakers versus the Detroit Pistons. Too much Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, and Reggie Jackson. Glad to see him back. Balanced scoring all the way around. They all had a plus in the plus or minus category, while the Lakers had balanced scoring, but they all had a minus in the plus or minus category for the starting lineup, and that was the deciding factor of the game. Kyle Kuzma was the first Laker since Magic Johnson to have consecutive 20-point, 10-rebound games. Or maybe it was 29, but you get the point. Julius Randle chipped in another double-double, 23 points and 11 rebounds. Brook Lopez played pretty well with 14 points and 9 assists from your center. Add to that 5 blocks. He actually had a pretty damn good game. Lonzo Ball wanted him to be more aggressive. Had 15 points, 11 assists, and 8 rebounds. Flirted with the triple-double. Caldwell Pope filled up the stat sheet with 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. But just wasn't enough towards the end of the game. Too much Reggie Jackson, too much Pistons, and they closed it out. They just wanted a little bit more. And the reason it was so significant, this game was so important, is that the Pistons are still clinging to hope they can get that 8th seed in the playoff spot, while the Lakers were still trying to get the 8th seed for the Western Conference. Hopes have evaporated. That is done. A moment of silence for the playoff hopes of the Los Angeles Lakers. With this loss, they have been eliminated from the playoffs. I am shedding a silent tear here. I've had better days, but like everyone else says, we'll see y'all next year. I'm gonna need a moment to process our season being over. So I'm gonna run through today's games real quick and touch on the important parts that I feel are necessary. We got the San Antonio Spurs playing the Washington Wizards. Since they're not helping the Lakers, it's back to hating the San Antonio Spurs. So let's go Washington Wizards. Hope you guys stomp the San Antonio Spurs. Then we have the Denver Nuggets versus Toronto Raptors. Jamal Murray's been acting a fool against the Lakers as of late. So I'm rooting for the Toronto Raptors. Let's go. Hope y'all stomp the Denver Nuggets. Then we have these Houston Rockets versus the Chicago Bulls. I hope the Bulls have a good game. Chris Dunn, Lauren Markkinen, Zach LaVine is recovering from injury. But they are tanking, and I do not wish for them to tank anymore or get rewarded for that, even though they're my friend Samin's favorite team. So I'm kind of rooting for them to win so they don't improve their draft position. But I don't want to root against the Rockets for no reason. So I just hope it's a really good game and whatever happens, happens. So we'll move on to the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Miami Heat. I think this is the first time they've played Dwayne Wade since he left the Cleveland Cavaliers. I do not want Cleveland to have a great draft pick, so I am definitely 100% rooting for the Miami Heat. Hope y'all stomp the Cleveland Cavaliers because the Lakers retain the rights to Cleveland's first round draft pick this year. Then we have the Portland Trail Blazers versus the New Orleans Hornets. I'm hoping for an exciting game. I love Dame Lillard. I love McCollum, Nurkic. Man, everybody loves Anthony Davis unless you're playing against him. So I just hope it's a fantastic game. Everybody stays healthy in that one. Then we have the Dallas Mavericks versus the Sacramento Kings. Both teams are putting on a super tank job, and I hate that with a passion. But since Sacramento's in the same division as the Lakers, I am rooting for the Dallas Mavericks. Let's go Mavericks! The Milwaukee Bucks are playing the Los Angeles Clippers, and even though I like some of those players on the Clippers that were traded from the Houston Rockets, I've got to root for the Milwaukee Bucks because the Clippers are in the same division as the Lakers, and I don't want them to have a great draft pick as it is. I don't want them to have any momentum if they make it into the playoffs. So let's go Milwaukee Bucks. Los Angeles belongs to the Lakers. Remember that today and always. Then you end the night with the Indiana Pacers playing the Golden State Warriors. My good friend Mo, who is overseas, his favorite team is the Indiana Pacers. I like the squad that they have, especially Victor Oladipo. I hope they blow out and stomp the Golden State Warriors. And that's just that. Those have been my views for this glorious March 27, 2018. If you like the content, want to support what I do, type in JMVOL or Just My Views on Life into the search bar or on youtube.com. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you're alerted every time there's a brand new video. I appreciate all the love and support. I'm Iron Man from the music group The Lottery, Showtime Records, and it's just how I see it. Be blessed and Godspeed. Feel free to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy it. Really and truly appreciate it. Leave all your interesting comments right down below, especially the ones where you disagree with everything that I just said. And then subscribe so you don't miss any of the newest and latest views.